Tackling a grim and growing problem, the number of unclaimed bodies has been going up in Ottawa and right across the province. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan. We begin tonight with a record-breaking surge in the number of bodies going unclaimed here in Ontario. The latest information coming from the Chief Coroner's Office is painting a grim picture of the pressure being put on funeral homes and cemeteries. CTV's Austin Lee is joining us live in studio with the breakdown of numbers. Austin.
Well, Stefan, we have seen a massive spike in unclaimed bodies right across the province in recent years, and there are several reasons that someone's remains might go unclaimed. Let's take a look at some of the latest data from the Office of the Chief Coroner. We can see a steady increase since 2019. The number of unclaimed bodies has more than tripled, jumping from 438 to more than 1,700 last year. Here in Ottawa, 122 bodies went unclaimed last year. The top three reasons being no next of kin identified, financial constraints, or next of kin declining to claim a person's remains. So what happens when a person's remains do go unclaimed? Well, their body is sent to a cemetery to be buried, and the cost is covered by the city. But here in the capital, there are some calls to increase the level of funding made available.
$1,300 to cover the cost of the grave space and the opening closing of the grave, which in no way covers it in today's costs. There's a point in time where we can't continue to lose money. If it was a break-even situation, fine, but no business can continue to operate and lose money.
Now, Miller says Cole Funeral Services is willing to do some of these unclaimed burials at a loss as part of a community service type of gesture, but the gap between the current cost and the funding provided is widening. While in Ottawa, again, reported 122 unclaimed bodies in 2025. That is a drop in the bucket compared to Canada's largest city. Of the 1,700 unclaimed bodies across Ontario, 1,138 were in Toronto. Stefan.
All right, a very sad reality. Thank you for this, Austin. In other news, as LeBreton Flats continues to take shape, the city is rethinking its road networks around the development site, which includes a new stadium for the Ottawa Senators. Today, scrapping a planned Preston Street extension in favor of a footbridge. CTV's Tyler Fleming has more details. Tyler.
Yeah, Stefan, it's a small step, but it drives home the city's vision of a future LeBreton Flats. The planned Preston Street extension would have cut through LeBreton from Albert Street to the Kitchie-Zibi-Meekan Parkway, taking its place now a pedestrian and cyclist bridge, which the city says will better connect the future neighborhoods districts. Now, while the change supports a modern, transit-oriented, people-focused community, it's also about traffic calming measures for a new Ottawa Senators Stadium, helping to prevent an overflow of cars from flooding into Little Italy.
It's great because one of the challenges we really have is that this is a small, older part of town, and we don't want to end up with the same kinds of traffic problems as King Edward has, for example.
Given the current lay of the land and what the future plans are, I think a footbridge like that is a great idea.
It turns into a real win for the community because it keeps all of the cars away from driving up into Little Italy and trying to access the highway and completely jamming up the neighborhood, and it means buses can get out of there during a major event.
The LeBreton Flats proposal includes a major events center, commercial space, along with around 4,500 homes. Now, it's up to the city, the National Capital Commission, and the Senators to figure out the next phase, which is traffic patterns and transit and how the arena fits into all of it. Stefan.
CTV's Tyler Fleming reporting live for us. Thank you, Tyler. There is confusion over the new blue bin recycling program and what residents have to do if they need a replacement. It isn't clear if you need to go pick up a new one themselves or if it will cost them. CTV's Little Rock has the latest. Leah.
Well, Stefan, it's been about a month since responsibility for the blue bins has gone from the municipality to the province under provincial legislation, but the transition hasn't been smooth, and there are a lot of questions that are being left at the curb. Residents are very confused about how to get a new bin or a replacement. Will they be delivered, which was the old policy, or do residents have to go pick one up at a specific location? And if you have to pay for the new one or if they are free of charge. Circular Materials didn't provide clarity to CTV News, but in a statement says it is working on a standardized process for providing bins to residents, and bins will be provided based on demonstrated need. City councillors are confused too.
When I asked that fairly simple question, I actually got 4 different answers, right? I get the answer that it's status quo, so delivered and replaced. I got replaced and delivered at cost, replacement but delivery at a cost. And the most recent and seems the answer that seems to be what Miller is doing is that they will be replaced, but you have to go pick them up yourself.
There are 2 contractor Miller Waste locations. One is in the East End on Bantry Road. The other is in Stittsville on Walgreen Road. So we asked Circular Materials again for clarification on the statement that they provided, and they resent the original statement. We also called Miller Waste to see if they could provide more information, but Stefan, no one picked up, and we left a message.
All right, we'll keep seeking those answers. Thank you for this, Leah. With more people in need of a place to stay, a new pilot program at Shepherds of Good Hope is offering a different path for those in need with alternative housing options. The program is also helping to ease some of the pressure on an already strained shelter system here in the capital. In partnership with the Alliance to End Homelessness Ottawa and the City of Ottawa, Shepherds has been working on a diversion pilot project aimed at redirecting people from entering the shelter system to begin with.
Our beds are open for anybody who needs that, but the goal really is to find a safe alternative place. If there is a safe place, if there is a safe alternative place for people to go, even temporarily, while they get back on their feet, we want them to go there.
The diversion pilot project is also helping to ease the financial strain on the shelter system, opening up beds for those who truly have nowhere else to go. There's hope to expand to program citywide and adopt a coordinated system across Ottawa's shelter system. Canada has updated its travel advisory for Cuba, urging travelers to exercise a high degree of caution as the Caribbean country is facing worsening shortages of electricity, fuel, and basic necessities. To reduce pressure on the electrical network, Cuba schedules long daily power cuts, but the Canadian government says nationwide outages can still occur unexpectedly and may last hours. The updated advisory also warns that fuel shortages have made traveling across the island extremely difficult, with public transportation frequently disrupted.
Having this institution is contradictory to their commitment to reconciliation and their Indigenous Action Plan and their commitment to divest from fossil fuels.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, why an RBC branch serving students at the University of Ottawa is set to close. And our Jackie Perez is joining us outside in the community tonight, Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. Yes, we are hanging out at Preston Hardware, where we are helping celebrate Heart Month. It's all part of the Heart Institute Foundation, and we'll have those details in a bit. But if you were outside at all today, we're still having those mild conditions here. Temperatures still under -10. This is the good news right now across Eastern Ontario. Temperatures sitting around -9 in Ottawa, -6 in Pembroke, as well as Cornwall and Brockville. As we look towards tonight's overnight lows, -17, partly cloudy skies will continue into tomorrow, but we are in for another mild day, -8 the daytime high. But here's the thing, by the time we get to Friday, yes, there will be snow making its way here into Eastern Ontario. These details and much more in just a bit. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. Here's what you need to know. North America's oldest cross-country skiing event is happening this weekend in the Outaouais region in and around Montebello. Skiers can register for distances ranging from 12 kilometers all the way up to 160 kilometers. Visit skimarathon.ca for all the details. A live check on traffic right now. Westbound on the Queensway, slow from Bronson to Moody. In the eastbound lanes, it's slow from Nicholas to the 174 split. And there's several collisions on major roadways like Woodruff at West Hunt Club near Prince of Wales, Carling at Merivale, Heron near Prince of Wales, Innis at Portobello in Orleans, and Terry Fox at Eagleson in Canada. Stay with us.
You're watching CTV News at 5 with Stefan Keys.
Far side pass, and it's an early shot. He scored!
Welcome back to CTV News at 5. The YMCA here in Ottawa hosting an open house this hour, shining a spotlight on ways to address local shortages of skilled trade workers, licensed childcare, and affordable housing.
We offer a suite of services, and our goal is to wrap around those services around an individual or family that come to us looking for support.
Some of those services include transitional housing, providing urgently needed childcare, and offering employment services, including in the trades. The YMCA of the National Capital Region says there is growing demand for its services. Today's open house includes residents sharing their own stories about how the organization has helped them.
I recently moved out of this building at the YMCA last month. So essentially, they were able to find housing for me. Prior to that, I was actually homeless. So this program meant the world to me.
The open house goes until 6:30 tonight at the YMCA Argyle Avenue location. It has been a fixture at the University of Ottawa for years. Now it's set to close this spring. The university says the on-campus RBC branch is shutting down as part of a redevelopment, but some students are calling it a win. A number of student groups have protested the bank's presence on campus for years. Their concerns are part of a broader national movement calling out banks for funding fossil fuel projects, which advocates say contribute to the climate crisis and violate Indigenous rights. But the university says the space is being repurposed to accommodate a growing student population.
RBC is the #1 fossil fuel financer in Canada and #3 in the world. And we see that as not aligning with our student population.
From the perspective of Indigenous students, like having this institution is contradictory to their commitment to reconciliation and their Indigenous action plan and their commitment to divest from fossil fuels.
In a statement, a university spokesperson says our many valued partnerships with RBC will continue to provide important programming and opportunities on campus for students. And RBC tells CTV News it's working closely with the university to maintain a campus presence, including full-service ATMs to meet the everyday banking needs of students and staff. A 4-year-old Doberman from Canada took home the Best in Show at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show in New York.
For Best in Show at the 150th Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show is the Doberman Pinscher.
Penny, whose co-owner is from Toronto, beat out a field of 6 finalists. Over 2,500 dogs from more than 200 breeds have competed. Each dog is judged according to how closely it matches the ideal for its breed. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Canada being called on to do more when it comes to dealing with an alarming rise in measles cases. We'll have those details. Also, here's what you need to know. Enjoy all things winter this week at the Greeley Winter Carnival. There's a lineup of events from Thursday through Sunday, including charity bingo, sleigh rides, skating, and more. Check out greeleycommunity.ca for all the details. Here's another live check on traffic at Nicholas. Things are moving well in both directions this hour. O'Connor, also smooth sailing in both directions. You might experience some backups once you get to Parkdale, especially in those westbound lanes. You're watching CTV News at 5. Coming up tonight on CTV after the news, E-Talk starts at 7, shifting gears at 7:30, followed by an episode of The Masked Singer at 8. Then you could watch Fear Factor, House of Fear, and Shark Tank. Now for another check on the weather, let's head back over to Jackie, who is in Little Italy at Preston Hardware for Heart Month. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. Yes, we're taking a look outside, actually. Still surprised that we are seeing still a little bit of that daylight. So sun setting a lot later than usual, just after 5 o'clock. So this is the good news. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. We're showcasing Kaweki Point, as well as the National Gallery of Canada. Current temperature about -9 degrees right now. Factor in that wind chill, feeling more like about -15. Now here's a closer look at what we can expect for later this evening. Temperature dropping to about -10, so still pretty close into seasonal conditions compared to what we had last year. I would call this or last week, I should say, I would call this pretty mild. Minus 13 is going to be around the midnight hour. Tomorrow, daytime high is going to be minus 8, but we still got to get through that minus 17 degrees to start off our day. The good news is we are anticipating lots of sunshine for our Thursday, and this will carry on for even the Seaway and the Valley. So in the Seaway, overnight low is about minus 16, daytime high minus 8 with a mix of sun and cloud. It's going to be a little bit cooler for our friends in the Valley, partly cloudy. Minus 21 is the overnight low with a mix of sun and cloud for the daytime high of minus 8 for our Thursday. Now here's a closer look at the next several days. So we are anticipating milder daytime highs for Friday, daytime high minus 6. But yes, we are anticipating snow. This is likely going to come in the early evening and continue into Friday night. So early forecast showing between 3 to 5 centimeters of snow, but we're keeping a close eye on this. What I do want to note, though, is that we are dropping temperatures again. So we're back into the minus double digits as we begin the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday, daytime highs going to be about minus 14 degrees. So if you are planning to hit a winterlude for the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday, there are lots of activities, outdoor activities for Ottawa. You definitely want to bundle up. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. And here's a look at the stories you're checking out right now on ctvnewsottawa.ca. As we head over to the big screen here, we also want to let you know that this morning there was a kitchen fire on Ledbury Avenue. 3 people can't go back home because of it, an adult and 2 children. We've heard from Ottawa Community Housing on this. Luckily, everyone is safe, but they are reminding folks that tenant insurance is important. If you don't have it, they do work with their partners like the Red Cross to accommodate this family. So again, check it out. All the details, ctvnewsottawa.ca. Coming up for us here on CTV News at 5, what an Ontario Children's Hospital is calling for when it comes to kids hitting the Toboggan Hills. Here's what else you need to know. The Stew Showdown is back for another year in Westboro in support of the Westboro Region Food Bank. It's happening this Saturday at the Royal Canadian Legion on Richmond Road from 2 to 4 p.m. Come sample stews from participating restaurants and cast a ballot for the People's Choice winner. Tickets are required. If you need gas tonight, one of today's cheapest gas prices can be found at the Pioneer Station on Bank Street in the Gloucester area. Regular gas there tonight is going for 123.9 cents a liter. We'll be right back.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Current temperature, -9. And it's time now for a look ahead to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Wall.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
$1,300 to cover the cost of the grave space and the opening closing of the grave, which in no way covers it in today's costs.
Recent data highlighting a dramatic rise in the number of unclaimed bodies in Ontario, and that is putting pressure on funeral homes and cemeteries, including here in the capital.
We're the ones trying to hit the gas pedal. My message to Mr. Carney, stop hitting the brakes.
Pushing for collaboration between the Prime Minister and Canada's Conservative leader ahead of their one-on-one meeting this afternoon on Parliament Hill.
The answer that seems to be what Miller is doing is that they will be replaced, but you have to go pick them up yourself.
Confusion over changes when it comes to what to do if you need your recycling bins replaced now that a new private company is in charge of the service. All of that and more is coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thank you, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following. Today is World Cancer Day. This year's theme is United by Unique.
Hope, fear, love.
It defines the crucial role of personalized, patient-centered care in the fight against cancer. It also highlights the importance of adapting cancer treatments to cater to the unique needs of each person. Canada sees an average of nearly 700 cancer diagnoses per day. The disease remains the leading cause of death in the country, with roughly 2 in 5 Canadians expected to develop cancer in their lifetime. Canada is among a number of countries being urged to do more to combat an increase in measles by an international health group. The Pan American Health Organization urges several countries in North and South America, including Canada, to intensify vaccination and surveillance for the infection. The organization says it issued an alert over a sustained increase in measles cases. Canada saw more than 5,400 measles cases in 2025, according to Health Canada. McMaster Children's Hospital in Ontario says helmets should be worn while tobogganing, citing concerns about head injuries. The hospital says it had multiple incidents in January where children suffered traumatic injuries after sledding into trees. It says head injuries are the most common and especially concerning because they can lead to lasting brain damage or cognitive difficulties. Researchers say children between the ages of 6 and 10 experience the highest proportion of injuries.
Arthur's Walk, go!
A groundbreaking ceremony was held today in Orleans, marking the start of construction of a new high school. The French Public Board hopes to open the new French school in time for the 2027-2028 school year. It will accommodate more than 700 students from grade 7 to 12. A neighboring French public elementary school is expected to open this September.
Sliding play, kicks it away from Chatfield for a quick second, comes back over to Batherson. Sanderson, a drive, scores!
The Sens certainly tried, but couldn't hold on to their winning streak last night. It was a valiant effort on the road against the Carolina Hurricanes, even tying the game at one point, but Ottawa would ultimately fall to the hometown team. The game ended with a 4-3 win for Carolina. The Sens stay on the road to play the Flyers tomorrow night in Philadelphia. That is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan Keys. Be sure to join Patricia Bull for CTV News at 6. The early edition of National starts now.